Big one here at Avalon Airport Oval.
Certainly is. Good crowd in today, of course. Werribee always gets a good crowd into this lovely facility. Plenty of Carlton people here too as we get set for the opening bounce.
Sam Conway is in ruck against Alex Murkov to get this one underway, and the first clearance does go Werribee's way. Sotomarco, the former skipper. It's a high bouncing ball at 50. Maluau involved here. Tried to come through with the ball. Williamson left it behind. And we have a stoppage in the sunshine.
It's Werribee kicking to the right of screen in the opening term. Murkov thumps it away, but straight to Hansen, who puts it inside forward 50. Chincotta, the first one there, gives it off to Lockie O'Brien, who's taken in a tackle, but not dangerously, according to the umpire. So free kick going Ollie Hanrahan's way. No, make that. No, it is Hanrahan. It is. And he's going to have a shot for goal from probably right on the paint.
It's been good for Werribee since losing his spot at Hawthorn, averaging almost 24 disposals a game.
Yep, had 25 last week to go along with a goal in Werribee's close-fought win on Good Friday. Hanrahan started that one right and it never came back. That's the first score of the day. Tigers one behind, Carlton yet to score.
William Stocker will kick in here for Carlton. And, well, everyone's pretty stagnant at the moment. Finally a lead on offer. You wanted Dow, but it fell well low of that. Eventually turns over. Hanrahan again missing. Received it from Nick Hayes, who got the intercept on Stocker's kick. So a couple of early behinds for Werribee. Kicking toward the Aquatic Centre end here at Avalon Airport Oval. That was a much safer ball from Stocker, this time finding Cooper Stevens. Spent time at Williamstown. Bit of a mongrel kick down the line, big pack on it and a big fist on the ball. Henderson found it in the sun, then got dumped in the tackle immediately by Chincotta. Eventually the ball's cleared out toward the wing, and happy to find the boundary line is Nathan Cooper.
Boundary throw in right in front of the benches. It's going to be Conway and Murkov going at it almost all day, you'd suspect. Only two recognised ruckmen out there today. Gribble farms it out to Hansen, got it back, then just handballed to a voice that wasn't there, and Dow sees it over. Nothing really free-flowing yet in this contest. Werribee comes in 2 wins, 1 loss. Carlton 3 wins, 1 loss as the kick into the middle of the ground is intercepted by DeClars. Looking for numbers fanning to the outside. He's got Sotomarco and Hanrahan, but Chincotta was also there for Carlton. He gets it back from O'Brien. Ran himself into a bit of trouble. Good pressure early by the Tigers. Sotomarco gives it off to Hayes, who tried to centre it looking for Garoni, but kick for him ill-directed. Fogarty got involved, but there's more black jumpers than white, so this is still dangerous for Carlton. Umpire calls play on, was pretty generous there. Stevens did eventually extract. Chincotta has his third touch in the chain, and the Blues not out of trouble yet. The ball went through the fingertips of Philp. DeClass sent it to the hot spot once again. Maluau was at the front. Here's Hanrahan. He's been busy early. Gribble now ends up with it. Handball over the top. Here's Wagner. Wanted to get on his right. Did, but good smother by Williamson. Sees the ball out of play. Carlton defence hanging on at the moment. They're under siege.
2 early minor scores for Werribee. One other game taking place currently in the Smithies VFL, and then another one that was due to start in an hour, but that one has been delayed. We might talk about that later in the game, but GWS 7-9-51 leading Sandringham 4-7-31 at 3/4 time in the only other live game as we speak in the Smithies VFL. We get another stoppage here in the forward pocket at Avalon Airport Oval. Comes to ground. Fogarty missed his sock up, picked up by Sotomarco. He finds the sticks. Ollie Hanrahan missed a couple, but Sotomarco at his first attempt at goal gets Werribee's first major on the board, and it took nearly 5 minutes.
Tigers have been dominant thus far in terms of the flow of play. Carlton yet to really have it inside forward 50. It's barely been in their forward half, in fact. So they've deserved that goal for their dominance early on, the Tigers, and they'll be happy to get on the board. You can probably hear in our effects, Mike, there is a bit of a breeze here. Not really favouring any particular end, but there is a little bit of a wind swirling as Conway wins it straight down to Gribble. He's handballed it a long way backwards, and Hayes was the only one there to retrieve it. Gave it off to Carroll, who was tackled immediately by DeClars. Carlton progressing forward. Yet to get it inside 50 yet, and they won't do so immediately here as DeClars puts it on the boot. Unable to hold on to the mark was Porter. Hanrahan got a bouncing kick going. Cruel bounce for Stocker. Worked out okay for Wagner. He lost it though. And now with the footy is Noah Gribble, and he's not coming free. Conway down to Brew. Just puts it on the boot inside forward 50. Plenty of Carlton numbers back, and they should win out. Radovanovic off to Tom North in for his first game this season. Hurst was taken high, and he'll take the free kick at half back.
Hayes on the outer side, comes in board, misses Fogarty in the air. Gribble regains it, that's Tom. Brew to Clace under a bit of pressure, had to hand pass back to Brew. Dumps it on the left foot inside 50, stretching for it. Porter couldn't take it. The bouncing ball there, up for grabs, and we've got a high tackle, I think, all holding the man. It's going to be a Werribee ball either way here to be taken by Lucas Rocky in for his first game of the season. Carlton yet to go inside 50 here. It's all Werribee as we speak, 4 touches each for DeClase and Henderson. Tom Gribble, Michael Sotomarco each have 3. Left foot ball by Rocky. And it's Werribee by 14 points, early stages.
Everyone getting around Rocky. His first VFL goal. All his teammates acknowledging that moment. Werribee off to a very good start.
Only 2 Blues on the ground with multiple disposals, and both from the VFL list, Alex Chincotta and Cooper Stevens. And a plethora of Blues on single
2 defenders.
Single numbers.
Yep. Which makes a lot of sense because the ball's been down there a lot. So can Carlton get themselves into this game? Porter now taking a turn in the ruck. Bounce favoured him. Xavier Marr trying to burrow in. Does get a kick free. And the Blues will just go inside forward 50 for the first time. El Howley over the top to Lual, and now here's Noah Gribble. Just pokes it up the boundary line, but good body work by Stocker. Took that mark in front of Manor. Nice searing ball inside for Philp. Has a man on it half forward. It's Carroll. Brew almost affected the spoil, but Carroll was there. He puts it into the pocket. No mark. Dow off hands. Read at best and just missed. So Carlton finally gets something going inside forward 50, but unable to convert. Trailer by 13 points.
Charlie Ham in the bright orange boots runs out of the square. Goes very short. That was okay for Gray. Back to Ham. Got dumped after the kick. That'll be downfield for DeClase. Left half back, Kai DeClase. Long to the pack. No, just took a bit off the kick and it was okay in the end for Matt Hansen. Had a great game last week on Good Friday against Williamstown. averaging 26 a game at the moment. Matt Hansen goes down the line. A couple more Blues at the fall of the ball. Stocker regaining it now. Fogarty. Long range handball okay. The Blues are going to get out of danger here. Hayes did well with the hand pass into the middle. And now dashing away is Ma. Goes inside 50 to a one-on-one. Back with the flight. Reading it beautifully is Brody Kemp. Has only kicked one for the year so far. Blues just need an early steadier here. Directly in front. Brody Kemp, Pierce hit the post. Didn't look too confident on the approach.
It's great transition play there by Carlton. Slingshot action off half back, but Kemp unable to turn it into a goal as Ham goes short for Hansen. And he in turn goes short, puts it over the head of Luau, gives Henderson a lot of work to do. Chincotta was there to close him down, but Werribee emerged with the footy anyway. Now trying to run onto it is Rocky, the last goal kicker. He's got to deal with three Blues. Did well to just slap it forward, but that's where it comes to an end. Carlton now in possession. Radovanovic dishes it off, and now Hurst forced to compete in the air, and that's not really his go. Werribee can repel now from the centre of the ground. Gribble's kick, though, well off target. Okoye couldn't take the mark. Was confronted, but was able to turn out of trouble and get it going to Philp, who's dumped in a strong tackle by Henderson. And the umpire says, give it to me. So Cripps taking a go in the ruck in relief of Murkov. Hansen at the back trying to burrow in. Noah Gribble did really well to extract, but then he turned it over by hand to Carroll. Inside forward 50, not quite. Unable to take the mark was Cooper, and he's taken high on the ground by Hurst. So Cooper will go short to Clark, and the next link in the chain will be El Howley.
Kick down the line intended for Porter, but well over his head, and Josh Cripps takes the relieving mark, gave it off very quickly to Stocker. Longer ball towards half forward, and we're back where we started with Al Hawley. Maluau over the top, and in front of him, Lockie O'Brien. Wants to go inboard on the left. Hayes had to wait underneath it. That allowed a couple of late arrivals for Werribee, being their Hayes and Nick. As Brew sets up a handball chain off half back. A little kick down the line by Al Hawley's okay. Now Porter has it in front of the interchange gates here. Lateral kick's okay. Pinnock looking at what's available in the corridor. In fact, he'll go all the way back inside defensive 50. Clark dropping it, Luau. Back to Clark. He was harassed. Crocker's done well just to impose himself on this ball. It stays in play when perhaps he thought it was going out. Now Dow dropped it. Had to lay the tackle on Hansen. Some sloppy play there. But we've got a ball up on the outer wing. Tigers by 2 straight kicks. Rocky and Sotomarco, the goal kickers.
It's good pressure there from Crocker, but ended up conceding a lot of ground. But they will go forward now, the Blues, through Trudgeon. Dishes it off by hand to Philp. Rolling ball towards half forward. Clean bowled Maluau. Now O'Brien needs to come in. Good work by El Hawley to just stop the forward momentum, but it's coming back. Cahill. Carroll had a fumble he couldn't afford. In fact, make that Philp. Now Trudgeon has an open man on the outside, but the kick intercepted by Pinnock, and now Werribee out of trouble. Hanrahan to Maluau. He's going to take on the opponent in Trudgeon, then went to ground, dishes it off to Hanrahan. He's in trouble. Good pressure by the Blues, and now they can come forward the other way. Just fumbling their opportunities at the moment, both sides. Carroll comes in. We might need a stoppage to clear this up, and we will. Both teams a bit untidy at the moment. Werribee 2-2, Carlton 2 behinds. Blues have just settled in a little bit, though, you suspect. Manor, clever kick out wide. It sits nicely for Noah Gribble. And he'll actually retrieve his own handball, Gribble. Could have run and carried if he want. Instead, went with the kick, and Okoye was there to mop it up to Will Hayes. Kick over the head of Handley. Ends up with Trudgeon. Inside 50, looking for Crocker, but not getting to him. Clark happy to let it roll over the boundary line harmlessly.
Ben Crocker also having a good season, already 11 goals to his name. Carlton had its first loss of the season last week at Icon Park against Richmond. Now they've got another set of Tigers they have to worry about here today. Now Hawley did well, eventually dumped out of defensive 50 by Cooper. 2-on-2 on this outer side. Eventually Sharks by Hanrahan. Manor, chipping ball over the top is okay. Mark taken by Josh Porter. Keeps it going. Long kick toward half forward where Matt Hanson is resting. Got beaten in the air by Lewis, and Hanson had to follow up at ground level. Does well to eventually lay the tackle, which results in a boundary throw-in. Despite the ball being on the outer side of the ground, a couple of interchanges on this side. Don't see that too often these days. Teams prefer to have the ball on this side. You don't want to throw out your defensive structures too much, making interchange when the ball's on the outer side. There are 5 Tigers lined up ready to come on at the moment. High wobbler into the pocket. And maybe a couple of Tigers got in each other's way there, Garoni and Hayes. Still a chance here. Hanson can go on the left. It's a very, very high shot. Missing to the near side.
.13 lead now for Werribee. Gribble up to 8 disposals already. Going at just under 34 a game this season to be one of the leaders in the entire competition. As the kick in is taken short for the Blues. Now they're going to go with the longer kick up the line. Cripps needs to contest against Conway, but the latter too big and just had better position as well. Very solid unit is Sam Conway. He's going to send it high and long. Inside forward 50. Garoni flew, but getting the fist on it was Okoye. Comes to Hanson on the boundary. He tries to dribble it towards goal. And it's a good effort, but taken over the goal line by Will Hayes.
I think it was on target there from Matt Hanson. Missed on the left moments before that, and had it not been for Hayes, probably would have kicked that one on the right. So they're peppering here, Werribee. They've had a good start to this game. We're back with Will Hayes, who's indicating he's going to go long. But he's in two minds. Took his time, but finally got his kick away. Big flight, the ball there by Kemp. Came to ground. Up for grabs on that outer side. Porter trying to make something happen. It's a hard ball to win. Conway dived on top of it. Williamson got pulled off it. Eventually Noah Gribble, little left foot dinky ball down the line's okay. Hanrahan just paid the mark there for 15. Near the boundary line, Ollie Hanrahan. High right footer, Maluau underneath, and eventually Hanson came late. Still a chance out the back here. Dribbling goal by Manor. Loose checking for the Blues out the back of the contest. Manor had so much space goal side, and as a result, Werribee now up by 20 points.
They just look a lot more dangerous going inside 50 at the moment, Werribee. It's been all the smalls who have kicked goals.
Top 4 leading ball getters on the ground, Michael. All Tigers at the moment. Tom Gribble, Ollie Hanrahan both have 8. And then DeClace and Henderson have 6. Noah Gribble's got 5. Leading ball getter for Carlton, Will Hayes with 5 down back.
That's all right. Stocker's next with 4. Another defender. It's pretty consistent with how the game's been played thus far. Took the Blues about 10 minutes just to get themselves really settled into the game. Werribee already had 2 goals on the board by that point. They've done well to even it up since. The umpire recalling that bounce. It's Conway slammed it inside forward 50.
I was told during the week by VFL umpire Michael, it's not necessarily the ball leaving the circles, but whether it's contestable or not. That's what the umpires are mainly looking for.
That one, yes, that's right. That one didn't in fact leave the circles, but Conway had a clear advantage. This time he throws it up and Murkov has the advantage because he wins the hit out. Henderson's kick partially smothered. O'Brien, Chincotta gets it back from Carroll, running through the middle and now with a little bit of space outside. Just revising the kick and then almost finding a target. Hayes couldn't hang on to it. Sotomarco a long way from his conventional home, and now Wagner has it on the broadcast side. Short to Maluel. Had Gray running alongside him looking to receive the handball, but Maluel decides not to do that. Instead, he's going to poke it along the line back to the man who gave it to him in Wagner. And he in turn will go inboard to Gray. Carlton have got numbers back. He's trying to identify a target inside 50. Murkov off hands, gives it off to Radovanovic, who needed to be really careful. Lewis, and a long way from home now is Crocker.
Did think about quickly getting it to Trudgeon. Wants to go a little longer than that. Off hands and out of bounds. Pennick just affecting enough of the contest. All 3 goals in this game belong to Werribee here at Avalon Airport Oval. Plenty of home support here today. Beautiful day for football. Not too hot, not too cold. Sun shining. As the ball's picked up by Fogarty. Kicked it to a 2-on-1, but DeClace mistimed his jump. Chance out the back here for the Blues. It's going to be Cahill who sends it toward goal and kicks Carlton's first. It's been dangerous up forward this year. That is goal number 7 for Ned Cahill's season.
It's been all about the small forwards so far in this game. The talls haven't been able to really hold on to any marks, but the smalls have looked dangerous on the ground. Gribble up to 9 disposals for Werribee, the reigning Liston medalist. It's been a long time, but he is still the reigning BNF of the competition. Hanrahan's got 8, DeClace 6, and Henderson also 6 for Werribee.
Close one around the grounds, Michael. Into time on final term. Giants by 2 points against Sandringham, 8-10-58 to 8-8-56.
That one taking place up in Blacktown. Conway wins it down, but to no real advantage. Henderson now gets boot to ball and just tumbles it towards the wing. Stocker leading the foot race. Has support if he wants to gather, but decided to let it go out of bounds instead. A 14-point game into time on first term. Werribee looking for its 3rd win. Carlton looking for its 4th. Fogarty dishes it off, but straight to Sotomarco, who just snaps it quickly inside forward 50. Lewis, the only one home, and he finds Williamson on the outer side. Wants to use that left foot to his advantage. It is a bit of a weapon, but unable to hit a target on this occasion. And now through Wagner, Werribee away. Here's Hanrahan, outer wing. Has Brew calling for it inside. Thought about going there, but wants to go the more direct route instead. High ball inside 50. Okoye got first hands to it for Carlton. Has plenty of support there, but Noah Gribble ends up with the footy and he's taken down. Chincotta's joined Will Hayes on 5 disposals to be the leading disposal winner for the Blues. Radovanovic next on 4. And here is Radovanovic on cue. Tackled immediately. Umpire says play on because the ball's come out, but now he says I'll toss it up. Round 5 action, Smithies, VFL. Okoye tried to break away from a couple of tacklers, wasn't able to do so. Farmed it back into traffic. And that was never going to end well for the Blues. Holding the ball paid. Looks like it might be Rocky going for his 2nd.
Werribee leading in all the key team stat categories at the moment, 8 for 7 in clearances. Sorry, that's hit-outs. Clearances 10-6. Tackles 14 to 13. Inside 50s, 11 apiece, surprisingly.
So, kicking from an almost identical spot to which he kicked one earlier this quarter. Rocky comes in and puts it across the face of goal.
Stocker will bring this in for Carlton. Down by 15 points. Big pack on this near side. Our Hawley went for a flight. There was a hold while the ball was in flight. Werribee ball. Umpire just took a while to point in the appropriate direction. Hudson Garoni claiming the free kick here for the Tigers. Ignores one lead. Long to the hot spot. Is his favourite option in the end. It comes to ground. North did well with the crumbing, although Henderson eventually got him. And then it's holding the ball just as the ball fell into the lap of Biorma Luau. And a free kick now for Jack Henderson. It is all Werribee in this first quarter. He can extend this lead to 21. Off the side of the boot. They've let a few opportunities go in this first quarter, Werribee.
That they have. 3 goals, 6 now for the term. As Stocker tries to find Hayes. Ball just out of his reach, but he keeps it in play. North and Hayes play a bit of a 1-2-3. Then North's kick was just along the ground. Favoured Luau, but then Hayes got him. And he made no attempt to get rid of it, Luau. So Hayes coming up for disposal, number 6. This one's just a long ball up the line. Murkoff needs a contest. Does okay. Hurst now on the ground. Not going anywhere. Murkoff and Conway go at it again. Hansen had his kick smothered. Ricocheted nicely for Gray. Gave it to Luau, who was in trouble. Then back to Gray. And they're conceding a lot of ground here, Werribee, but they do maintain control of the footy. Here's De Clace, who has time for a bounce. Can handball it over the top to Henderson. Does exactly that. A couple of options inboard. One of those Gray. Gives it back to De Clace, who's kept running. This looks really good from Werribee into the pocket. And the mark is taken on a difficult angle by Porter.
Around the ground, still a 1-point lead for the Giants, but Sandringham coming home, a goal and a behind for Jack Bytel, bringing it back within a point.
Just the 1 goal, 1 for this season for Josh Porter. This is a tough kick from a tough angle. It's going to fall short and be rushed through.
Kick in quickly taken here by Lewis. It was a good option in the end to go to Carroll. Had some space at half-back through the hands of Crocker. Ball's dribbling along the wing here. Eventually tracked down by O'Brien, but Crocker brought down by Luau without the ball. So they've already advanced it beyond centre wing here, the Blues. Then Crocker has to come back over the mark. O'Brien available short, wants to go a bit longer for Fogarty, affecting the contest. Luau late, making up for giving away the free kick by forcing a boundary throw in.
Jesse Clark's just been getting some attention from the trainers on the bench. They're taking a look at him now, so for the moment, Werribee just 4 on the bench.
Conway in ruck against Josh Cripps. Brew eventually tracks it down. Luau, short ball for Henderson. As you can tell, our siren is very close to our effects mic here today. It is quarter time at Avalon Airport Oval, Werribee 3-7-25. Carlton 1-2-8 as Michael Petrevski gives us a couple of
goals. Sounds, which is right next to us, and Adam Sarakoglu will get us underway.
Hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far, afl.com.au. Big audience listening in today. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far. As it's Malua that eventually emerges. Handball to Conway, who was under pressure. Now Brew on all fours, went to the voice of Tom Gribble. Eventually gets the clearance for Werribee. We're inside 50, but a relieving mark taken by Tom Williamson.
Read that well in the air, Williamson. One of 10 AFL-listed Blues out there today. He kicks to a 1-on-3. Carroll did well, though, when the ball went to ground. Here's Fogarty towards half forward. Mark taken by Kemp anyway. So the downfield free kick, not impactful, but Kemp's ball use inside forward 50, no good. And that's cut off easily for Werribee, and now they can use the corridor. Here's Manna. Takes it in front of Chincotta, but he is forced to slow it down a bit. Keeps going up the middle and had an option in Porter leading. Got one-on-ones inside forward 50 if he goes quickly. Carlton have had a bit of time now to get back. And the kick, looking for Declars, did okay. Williamson on the ground though, and that's a good tackle laid by Rocky. And the umpire will ball it up.
So Tom Gribble had 10 touches in the first quarter, up to 12 now. He's already had a couple here in the second. Henderson 11 as well for Werribee. They are inside 50. Garoni out to DeClace. Had some time to go on the left and miss.
It's been everywhere early in this game, Kai DeClace. 9 disposals already. In fact, make that 10. As Carlton bring it back into play. Here's Okoye. Got it from Lewis. Just pokes it short to Radovanovic. And now Stocker. He's the one they like being adventurous with the ball, but he won't do so on this occasion. Just get it to Radovanovic and then short again to Stevens. So we've had 4 or 5 kicks and we're still inside defensive 50. They finally get out of their defensive area, Carlton. And that kick in board did get to Stevens just in time. He's paid the mark. O'Brien running alongside, wanted the handball, didn't get it. Carroll. And now Hurst. He's going to skip the short ball movement inside forward 50. Kemp the target. Flew but couldn't take it. Hayes on the ground. Unable to find a target by hand. And Werribee able to get out of trouble. Ball bounces over the boundary line in front of Hurst.
Werribee by 3 goals here at Avalon Airport Oval. Lovely day for football. So we wait for the boundary throw in. Conway and Murkov looking into the sun. Fell a little bit short. Manna. Gribble had no space. And Paddy Dow made sure of that for the Blues. Murkov and Conway will go again here. Very straight boundary line on this near side at Avalon Airport Oval. Conway on the follow-up. It was off the deck and then punched it forward. Manna does well, evades a tackler and sends a mongrel punt inside 50. Eventually bounces into Garoni's hands. Wanted to get the hand pass out quickly, but worried out of it was Porter. And a bit slow to get up as well, Porter. Blues get it back here through the corridor. Carroll toward the outer side. Kicks intended for Crocker, but it's cut off instead by Pinnock.
Just got in front of his opponent in Mar and took the mark, Pinnock. Finds Gray on the outer side at half forward. It's been a lot of slow play in this opening few minutes of the second term, but we've got a turnover here. Running into the open goal and missing was Manna.
Paddy Dow wants to run out of the square. It's hugging the boundary line and it's curving that way very late, and the slip through the hands of Xavier Marr in the end. Werribee keep on peppering here, 3-9. Carlton just the 1-2. Murkoff and Conway do the dance once more. Bounce just away from Dom Brew. Non-officiating umpire spots a hold. A free kick going Carlton's way. Paddy Dow at half back. The Tools have made their way down toward this very contest where the ball's going to land. Conway, couple of bites of the cherry and the mark is paid.
Nicely done there by Conway. He's taken a couple of good marks so far in this game. Doesn't want to go by foot. Gives it to Sotomarco, El Hawley, and now the full switch has been affected. Ball sits up nicely for Pinnock. Has Maluel short and goes in that direction. Bjork gets up quickly. Gets it to Hanrahan. Tries to loop a handball over the top to Maluel. Did well, and now inside 50 go the Tigers, but cut off nicely by Radovanovic. And somewhat promising piece of play comes to a disappointing end. Speaking of disappointing ends, that kick from Radovanovic carried a bit in the breeze, I think, and just missed its target.
Werribee by 19, but it could be a lot more than that. Boundary throw in. Murkoff gets first hand on it. Missed by Dow. Brew applying some pressure. Tom Gribble toward Henderson. Bounce eventually was picked up, but as he kicked it, pushed out of bounds on the full was the kick. Just enough pressure on him applied by Michael Lewis, and Carlton will look to re-establish off half-back. Handball for Hanley. And eventually it's Chincotta running through the middle, decides to keep the handball chain going. Williamson going deep now. Ball sails well over the head of Kemp. It's bouncing toward the goal line. And a minor score for the Blues. They're still well and truly in this, though, as Werribee quickly go to Tom Gribble.
They certainly are still in it. You can see Jesse Clark doing some run-throughs on the boundary line, perhaps readying himself to come back on as Gribble sends it high and long up the line, but all Carlton at the fall of the ball. Trudgeon takes it easily. Spotted Fogarty in the middle and went to him, and now the field starts to open up. Chincotta to a 2-on-2. Kemp tapped it down, and Crocker will finish off the good work for Carlton with a goal. Great piece of play from the Blues. And they get their first of the second term. Margin now only 2 goals.
Tom Gribble's up to 14 now. Henderson 12, Manor 10, then 10 each to Declace, Hanrahan. And for Carlton, Liam Stocker, leading ball getter on the ground. Now, Michael, around the grounds of Blacktown, Sandringham mounting a late comeback. And at the final siren, we had our first draw of the Smithies VFL season, 8-11-59 apiece between the Giants and Zebras.
Wow, what a result. The Giants, it's the first time they haven't won this season. I saw them last week and they were very, very impressive.
Back here, a 12-point ball game. It'll be Murkov and Conway once more. Good bounce to restart play. Murkov wins the tap, but not to advantage. Henderson out to Gray, held up by Fogarty. Got his hand pass out in time. It's regathered for the Blues by Marr. Hand pass came in board, and now we go inside 50. Crocker again, the target. This time he'll have a set shot. The man in the bright pink boots today.
Starting to look a bit better here, the Blues. A couple of nice passages. Crocker can get his second in the space of about 90 seconds.
It's a pretty still day here today at Avalon Airport Oval, but we might have a scoring end based on what we've seen so far. This to make the margin just one single kick. Crocker, that's a nice ball. He gets 2 in as many minutes, and we've got a 1-goal ball game at Avalon Airport Oval.
So Crocker up to 13 goals now for the season. really the main man inside the forward line for the VFL Blues. So we have a look at the stats. Gribble up to 14. Jack Henderson not far behind on 13. Manna with 11. And for Carlton, Stocker has 10. Chincotta and Hayes both have 9. But Werribee have got many more in double figures. They've got 5 in double figures. Carlton just the 1. And he's the man who takes most of the kick-ins. So Werribee has been the better team for the majority of this game, but thanks to some poor goal kicking, Carlton still very much in it. O'Brien to Dow. Takes a bounce, thought about going more directly, then fed it out wide to Ma, and now Carroll towards half forward. Kemp, strong hands. DeClays is playing as a spare inside defensive 50 for Werribee, so the kick needs to be well placed. It is. Not to the advantage of Crocker, but he'll get a free kick for an arm chop. He can go back for 3 now in 3 minutes.
This one's turned rather viciously and very quickly at Avalon Airport Oval. Werribee led by 18 points, or 19 points even only a couple of minutes ago.
So he's having a bit of a purple patch here, Ben Crocker, to even up the scores and kick his third in as many minutes. It's close, it starts right, and that might have even travelled over the post. Just misses.
Keegan Gray will bring this. Toward the middle of Avalon Airport Oval we go. Going up, Garoni couldn't take it, but still the Tigers able to get the clearance, and it's dumped forward by Hanrahan. Nicely read underneath. Lockie O'Brien. Hadman Luau all over him. Switches to the outer side. It's in the hands of Sam Philp. He'll go very short. Stocker. Next in the chain for the Blues is Trudgeon. Back in board for Liam Stocker across half back. O'Brien asking for it near the middle of the ground. Slow, careful build up here by the Blues, who now have all the momentum. Less than a goal away from the lead. Ball up for grabs. Ma got slung in his tackle as he tried to get his kick away. Umpire got a good look at all of that. Eventually calls for the stoppage on this outer wing.
The only 2 goals of the term have gone to Carlton, and more specifically Ben Crocker. Werribee have been stopped in their tracks as quick kick comes away from Hayes. Ball went over the one-on-one, and Hanrahan was there to retrieve. Gave it to Pinnock, who fed it out to Hayes, and now some positive ball movement here for Werribee. Hanrahan's handball not on target though, and that's put a halt to everything. Carlton can go the other way. Phillips' kick nicely cut off by Luau. Needing to be good here is Cooper. Did enough to get the handball away, and now Noah Gribble has it. Dishes a handball to Luau. Has one-on-ones forward. Goes with the outside of the boot towards forward 50. Radovanovic stood tall and got it to ground for Carlton, but the numbers on the ground with Werribee. Henderson, Hanrahan, Garoni, Gribble. No one can get a foot on it. Here's Gribble. Tom Gribble that is, but inside forward 50, his kick. Not to the advantage of a teammate, and Carlton through Dow and O'Brien. A couple of top 10 picks in 2017. Get out of trouble? No. Mark not paid to Handley. Don't know what Noah Gribble was intending there, but it all comes unstuck, and the Blues now away through Kemp.
Begging for the ball running inside 50's Cahill, but Kemp held onto it. Cahill now cuts back towards him, and again ignored. Over the top we go for O'Brien. Takes it in front of Gribble. Tom. Switching ball here for Hayes. Again, the Blues want to be careful. Crocker's on a lead. That gets ignored. Protected area infringements. And a 50-metre penalty. Wagner was pointing to his opponent, trying to explain himself. I'm not sure if that was worth a 50 in itself at the moment in the current climate, but nonetheless, A very easy shot at goal for Will Hayes. To give Carlton its first lead of the game. And halfway through the second quarter, the Blues suddenly find themselves on top at Avalon Airport Oval.
Well, it's still Werribee leading the way in terms of scores, 12-8, but Carlton converting at a much better rate. And that's why they've been able to take the lead for the first time. 15 minutes into the second term. Just the two behinds for Werribee in this quarter. Carlton, 3 goals, 2. That bounce will be recalled.
Will Hayes now 11 disposals.
Conway easily over the top of Cripps. Straight down to Dow though. Brew not letting him escape.
For Werribee, Tom Gribble 15, 14 for Ollie Hanrahan and Jack Henderson.
The crowd's been silent somewhat here. They're stunned. After that first term, they weren't expecting to find themselves behind as Dow sent it towards half forward. Cahill couldn't handle the difficult half volley. Now Werribee come away with it through Tom Gribble. Did Rocky get a hand to it in time? He did. Clever to prevent the free kick going against his team.
Straight boundary line, catching out yet another victim.
And that's someone who's played a lot of footy here in Tom Gribble. So if it can get him, it can get anyone. Conway got it down. O'Brien was dispossessed. Now Gribble clears to the one-on-one inside forward 50. Garoni, was he held? Umpire says no. And we'll ball it in. The crowd not too happy with that one, finding a little bit of voice. But the umpire doesn't listen.
Philp coming onto the ground, replacing Kemp for the Blues.
They lead it by a point, Carlton. Neither ruckman got a hand to that one. Hansen. Fogarty did well not to get into his back. He still got him, Fogarty. But the umpire says didn't have long enough. They've worked it inside forward 50 now at least, Werribee. Need a goal to respond. Carlton has been the far better team in this quarter. Dow couldn't handle it. In comes Ham. Slapping it forward is Brew. Wagner tries to tap it to his own advantage, but can't keep it in.
It's been a stoppage-heavy second quarter, this one. Blues by a point, low-scoring affair. Conway gets in front of Murkov, but Murkov reached over the top and got the tap, and then dumped out of it was Chincotta. Picking it up and kicking it forward was North. Bouncing ball on the wing. Interesting little tap there by Ham. The Clace. So a 2-on-1, and Henderson marks well. Does he think about a shot? Couple of leads on offer. He'll ignore those, and for a moment he will think about the shot. Tom Gribble flirting with the idea of getting the handball received. Noah Gribble lurking behind Henderson as well. He'll hold on to it. Get some extra metres with the stand on the mark rule, and times it perfectly. Werribee leading it once more at Avalon Airport Oval.
Nice finish there from Jack Henderson. Has been a goal kicker in the past, not so much this season as he spends a lot more time in the midfield, but as you saw there, still highly capable of getting on the scoreboard.
Now, Michael, I mentioned there was supposed to be one other game live as we speak, but it's been delayed by 4.5 hours. So Footscray taking on Southport at the VU Whitten Oval was meant to be a 3 o'clock game today, but a cancelled flight that has affected the Southport Sharks coming down into Victoria has resulted in this game needing to be delayed. So now 7:35 tonight at Whitten Oval, Bulldogs taking on Southport. The only other game still to be played in Smithies VFL today.
Has been a bit of a chaotic morning in that respect, Adam, but as long as the Sharks are able to get down and get a game played, that's the main thing. DeClace puts it on the boot, just gets it forward. Radovanovic got rid of Garoni nicely, but couldn't hang on to the mark. Garoni goes in again, sought the body contact of Fogarty rather than the actual ball, but it works out okay for Werribee because Gribble was pushed in the back by Dow.
Coming up for disposal number 19, the reigning Lister medalist.
Inside forward 50, Maluel holds on. Well done. Good mark.
He's a wingman, Michael, but we've seen a lot of Bior Maluel over the years, and he's very, very dangerous when he does get forward because not only his athletic ability, but he can take marks as well. Pretty clean on the set shot as well.
He certainly can. He's quite tall, moves very well. He's almost glides more so than runs. And this is well within his capabilities, Bior Maluel, and he splits the middle. Werribee get 2 in a row to steady.
It's not a prolific ball winner either, Bior Maluel, only his 5th touch for the game, that one, but one of those impact players. Really impressed at local level, caught the eye of those running the show here at Werribee, and has been in this particular side since 2019.
Hasn't missed many games since then at all. He's very much a valued member of the Werribee squad, and he gets on the scoreboard in the second term.
Seen a few of these already today. Murkoff laying the tackle. Ball will be thrown up. Hanley last man to have it. 11-point ball game, Avalon Airport Oval. Murkoff winning the tap down, but Carroll couldn't emerge. Had too many Tigers around him. Gribble to DeClace. Eventually worked out well here by Werribee. Ended up with Ham, who went to Hal Hawley down the line for Hansen. Brew keeping it alive. Quickly gets his hand pass off. Underground ball. Trying to keep it alive was Rocky. Did well. Sotomaco couldn't keep it in. Just outside 50 here. 5-9 playing 4-4. A draw earlier today between GWS and Sandringham. Another big round of Smithies VFL. Got 6 games tomorrow, and then on Anzac Day itself, it's Essendon hosting Collingwood at Windy Hill. Nice mark on the wing here by Cripps. Quickly got it off to Hayes by hand. Now Carroll going out wide. Nice build-up so far by the Blues. Williamson, one way than the other, looking to get around to Clace. He finally goes deeper inside 50. 2-on-1. It might carry all the way out the back. Whistle's gone, though. Illegal shepherd in the marking contest, and a free kick will be coming back. I think it's Cooper that has it for the Tigers. Gives it off by hand to Hansen.
That he does, and Hansen clears the area through the fingertips of DeClace. Noah Gribble can't keep it in. So Tom Gribble's up to 21 touches. He's having a day out in this first half. Hanrahan and Henderson each have 15, while for Carlton, Stocker has 12, Carroll Hayes and Lockie O'Brien each have 11 touches. Williamson gets around a couple of would-be tacklers, then feeds it off. Inside forward 50 go the Blues. Kemp tried to manoeuvre Cooper forward, but couldn't do so. The Werribee defender gets a hand on it. So they've done well to respond, Werribee. They've kicked the last 2 after Carlton kicked the opening 3 goals of this second term. As the ball evades all comers from the throw-in. Philp took a bit of time to handle it, then gave it off to Stocker, who with the non-preferred inside 50 turns it straight over to De Clace.
Only looking one way. He'll be told to hurry up now. Short options available. Mark taken by Luau. Is this where we go to longer ball? Conway waiting for it down the line. No, he cuts in board for Pennick. And then all the way back to the goal square. Porter, Maluau. Players start coming across to this near side. There's plenty of space. He goes down the line. Kick intended for Ham. Well spoiled as it goes out of play by Stefan Ivanovic. The product out of the Keilor Footy Club in the Essendon District League. We've got a blood rule here before the boundary throw in. Can't yet see who this is for, but a couple of blues have come off.
Will Hayes.
Okay, here he comes now. Lockie O'Brien and I just come off. He thought he was the one that had to come on for Hayes, but instead it's going to be Paddy Dow. Umpire still indicating the blood rule here.
O'Brien did come back on.
Now we'll get the throw in. I feel like these rucks are a long way back here. These throw-ins have been falling well short of where they're currently standing. They did get to the right spot in the end. Conway on the follow-up, missed his handball for Luau, and Carroll goes inside 50 for the Blues. Almost trapping the mark, but not doing so. Kemp, Luau put his team in under pressure there in Pennick. Luau cleaned up his own mess. Hand pass in board and eventually dumped out, but a wayward kick by Gray turns it over back into Carlton hands, and Philp has it.
So it's coming straight back. Here's Philp. Early pick in the 2019 draft, pick 19 he was. Sends it towards the hot spot. Plenty of numbers there. At the back, Carroll just can't get boot to ball. Well, he did in the end. And it came out to Williamson. This might work out for Carlton. Dishes it off. Cahill misses. Across the face of goal, and it bounces harmlessly over the boundary line. Almost half-time at Avalon Airport Oval. If you just joined us, Werribee led it by 17 at half-time. Carlton kicked the first 3 goals of this second term to take the lead, but Werribee have hit back with the last 2. Handball smothered. Here's Williamson again. He's looked dangerous up forward. Marr can't handle it. Williamson goes in again. Needs some support. Doesn't get a lot of it. Bounced off a Werribee defender, but eventually the numbers win out for the Tigers, and they do get it out of the immediate danger. Hayes couldn't hang on to it, though, and now they're back into trouble. Maluel in there, so too Keegan Gray, and now we've got a high free kick. Werribee will get out of trouble with the bouncing ball in front of Noah Gribble.
Collects it now, kick intended for Pennick, but it's too hot, and Stocker picks it off for the Blues. Quickly wants to go in board. O'Brien left it there for Chincotta. Haven't had a score in this game for a while. 11-point lead for Werribee. They did give up the lead for a couple of minutes in the middle of the quarter. Nice ball by Chincotta down the line. Kemp too far out to score, though. Crocker coming out of the square. Kemp's got to hold on to it. The right footer into the hot spot. Crocker had a few to beat. It was punched away. Reclaimed by Hanrahan. Weaving his way through. Finding the handball option in Manor. Nice ball out. Taken by Hayes. Wanted to get it moving quickly. Now Pennick. Takes a bounce on the outer wing. Over the top for Garoni. He forced his teammate there in Porter to come back after he was running forward. Porter eventually gets some help, picks it up, but gets dumped. It'll be a ball up near the boundary line.
It's been about 8 minutes since that last goal to Maluel.
Late arriving was Conway for the ruck contest against Murkoff. Noah Gribble has been busy. Hansen burrowing in. Lost his footing though. Now Brew. Philp making sure he's going nowhere. Stoppage heavy game this one. Almost at the 30-minute mark of this second quarter. It's hacked forward. Mark was missed by Pinnock. Chance here for the Blues now. O'Brien from just outside the arc, kicking it to what is eventually 2-on-1 because Crocker lost his footing. And in the end, there was only one man there to retrieve it for Werribee, and that was Ham, and now it's Malual that has it.
Called to move on by the umpire. Still unsure of where to go, so he's just going to hoik it high up the line and hope his tall timber can do something. Okoye got first hands to it, kept in by Stevens. Lewis back to North. Now Chincotta. They've conceded a lot of ground here, Carlton, and they continue to do so with North. Back to Stevens, and he just puts it up the line where he had three teammates and hoped that one of them could grab it, and the tallest one in Murkoff did. Over 30 minutes gone now. Second term, call to move on. Needed to be careful. Good foot skills from the big man to find Carroll. And now switching to the outer side of the ground, Chincotta. Didn't have anywhere to go after it though, so forced to hold it up. Now he's just going to send it towards the top of the square. No mark taken. Malual at the back. Kicked it away, but only as far as Radovanovic, who can put the Werribee defence in danger once again. Instead, he's going to have a go from the pocket. It's close. It's across the face. Radovanovic fancied himself from the pocket and made a good fist of it, but ultimately just one behind.
Louis Pinnock. We're at the 31-minute mark here of the second term. 10-point ball game for Werribee after leading it by 17 at quarter time. Toward this near side, off hands now to bounce. Hayes, Okoye, all there. "21 touches for Tom Gribble, who's just come back out onto the ground. Carlton. It's Jack Carroll with 14. That is the halftime siren at Avalon Airport Oval. And it is a 10-point ball game in favour of the Tigers. 5-9-39. He's hoping that things open up a little bit. It was dour and very stop-start that first half. And speaking of stop-start, we get a false start from the umpire to start this third quarter. Everyone resets. And we go again. Ball thrown up in the middle. Gribble was very much all over his opponent there as the ball is eventually sent forward here for Werribee, but reclaimed by Stocker, and the siege just parted for him beautifully as he sends it toward Kemp, and he takes a good mark. Crocker working back to the square, but Kemp won't get up in time. Doesn't seem to be too confident at the distance here, but he will settle into his set shot routine. Hasn't kicked a goal yet today, only one for the season, 1 goal 3 coming in to this round 5 clash. This would reduce it down to 4 points. It's a big ride that Kemp has given this ball. Lands into the field of play and eventually out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Yep, boundary line beat Crocker and Lual to it. Just on that passage before, that's why Carlton people are so excited about Liam Stocker. He's had a bit of a stop-start AFL career thus far, but you see the glimpses of potential when he's out there playing as Pinnock clears the congestion here for Werribee. Good mark, though, by Radovanovic. Umpire's calling play on. Might have been touched off the boot. Not too sure. But either way, it's going to be a stoppage. Murkoff easily with the strength over Malual. Fogarty over the top of it.
Conway comes to the rescue now after Malual was completely outside.
He's a lot of things, Bjorn, but he's not a ruckman. Free kick picked out for Werribee, and they're going to take the advantage. Gribble tried to draw the man, did so, then found to Clays by hand. This looks good for Werribee. High ball to the one-on-one. Porter and Radovanovic, the latter, did well to get a fist on it, and a handball from Okoye gave Stevens a bit of a task, but he was up to it, and now O'Brien finds Stocker. A couple of highly drafted Blues combining. Now Okoye again. He sends it up the line. Representation is there for Carlton in the form of Fogarty. He plays the 1-2. Now he's streaming on the outer wing. It has opened up a little bit in this second half so far, Adam. Williamson, almost within range from there. He's going to do the selfless thing instead, but just missed timing. His leap was Philp. Now Crocker's wrapped up and got a problem. Don't know how he disposed of it. Either way, Werribee will come away with it through Lual, and now the mark taken by Porter.
He'll go lateral and slightly backwards to Pinnock and now to Clace. Plenty of space for Hanrahan on the wing. Can get it and go. Nope, he decides to hold up. Goes inboard now for Tom Gribble. On to the left in the Hudson-Garoni direction, and he takes it nicely. Plucked it in that contest. Did well against Stocker. And as the sun just creeps behind the clouds here, he can extend Werribee's lead to 16 points. They did lead by 19 in the first quarter. Pretty still day here, but a lot of the scoring is coming toward this end of the ground. Hudson-Garoni, 2 goals so far this season. Tucked up against the boundary line. Lobs it high, but threads it few. What's happened here? Carlton claiming it's touched.
I think they're saying it hit the post.
Goal umpire is heading toward the goalpost here as we have a conversation with the field umpire. Boundary now comes in. Both boundaries are going to come in for this conversation. Carlton setting up for the kick in. I wonder if that's because Lockie O'Brien overheard the conversation. No, it's a goal. Long conversation by the men in green. But the goal is paid. And Werribee up by 16 points.
Well, a bit of a contentious call there. We had to get the boundary umpire, goal umpire and the field umpire all to talk about it. But ultimately, they came up with the best possible result from a Werribee perspective. But as long as they get it correct, and that's all you can ask for, and it looks like that's what they've done. So Werribee lead it by 16 points now after that. Gribble's had 2 touches already in this third term, up to 23 for the game. Stocker has 17 to lead Carlton.
That was Hudson-Garoni's first mark of the game.
Bounce favoured Murkov. Tapped it into the path of Dow, but he couldn't gather it. DeClace did instead. Off to Gribble, touch 24. High ball inside forward 50. Garoni there again, but off hands, Cincotta dishes it off to Stocker, who then gave it to O'Brien, who not so subtly ran it over, but he was under pressure, so it's okay. And he's turned it over from the kick in. And Werribee can go back for 2 in a minute. Garoni from almost the exact same spot can go for goal once again.
I think he might be a touch closer this time. So he's gone from no marks to 2 marks, can go from no goals to 2 goals.
So a really bad skill error from the kick-in for O'Brien. Sees an opportunity for Hudson-Garoni to kick his second and extend the Werribee lead to 23 points.
Game high.
In he comes. This one's well across the face of goal and won't score of its own volition. It's thumped through.
So even though the first one did go through for a goal, near the kick was convincing there from Garoni. Stocker will kick in. Blues have made a few mistakes in this area today. Werribee have given them 11 kick-ins now. We've seen a couple of turnovers. Stocker, long. At least if you turn it over here, it's well out of the danger zone. Bouncing ball eventually picked up by Coy. Maluau harassing him. Cincotta now to O'Brien. Just waiting for some options to present. Philps was on all fours. He couldn't take it in the end. Could Philp. It's hand pass toward the boundary line. Hayes kept it in. Fogarty underneath this. Keeps on going. Hand pass out to Hurst. He takes a bounce. Might think about going all the way. Finally drew the opponent, which left Crocker all by himself. Goes around the corner, and the Blues get one back. They go coast to coast. Much needed one for Carlton.
Just the 6 disposals today for Crocker, but 3 of them have been goals. So that's Some nice output there from your main forward. And keeps Carlton within reaching distance because Werribee was threatening to run away with it with their start to the second half.
Blues now lead the inside 50 count, 27-26 for the game. Free kicks 12-6 Werribee's way. Carlton leading hit-outs 24-16, but clearances 25-17 Werribee.
It has been an enthralling ruck battle between Murkov and Conway, both very different body types. Conway got first hand to that one, but hit it straight to Dow, who bursts away from the congestion, just hacks it inside 50, looking for a target. Couldn't find one. Philp tries to apply the pressure, but Werribee get out of danger through Hanrahan, and now Cooper. Awkward kick, but finds his target, Pinnock. He chips it over the top. Finds Gribble, but that kick, not a good one. Carlton can send it back inside 50. Dow caught in two minds momentarily, then put it on the boot without any real direction, and Werribee will come away with it again. Here's Brew, high ball. Doing well to come from the back and take the mark was Hayes. He's got Porter one-on-one if he wants to go long. Instead, goes shorter to Wagner. Porter led, and that's where Wagner went with his kick. Nice build-up from Werribee, and Porter can go back and kick for his first. The game just opening up a little bit in the third term. That was nice transition play from Werribee, which leads to this shot at goal. One goal, one for the season for Porter. This one's high, well across the face. It won't score. Murkov tried to bash it through. Almost missed his fist, and instead it's over the boundary line, and the behind post is wobbling.
Tigers in attack once more. 12-point ball game at Avalon Airport Oval. Only game on in Smithies VFL as we speak. Big triple header of action today, this being the middle game, holding the ball. And a free kick will go Carlton's way, but advantage won't be allowed to be taken. It's going to come all the way back to Michael Lewis. In fact, it was Trudgeon. Out of side ball. Carroll couldn't take it. Williamson taking a bounce across half back. Then Henderson made him think about what he had to do with it. Chincotta gets it by hand. Through the middle we go. Blues on the attack once more. Hanley got brought down, but not before he could get his hand pass out. Ma just put his team out under pressure there in Carroll. Ends up with Crocker. Can't get number 4 from that sort of range. Hand pass to Ma. Chipping ball is finding Carroll. And Jack Carroll can have a shot. He's coming up for disposal number 18. Averaging 23 this year. This would be his first goal. Blues would be down by just one kick if he converts. On the approach now is Jack Carroll. And the Blues now trail by just 6 at Avalon Airport Oval.
Well done there by the Blues. It wasn't pretty going forward with the handball chain, but it was effective in the end. Crocker just able to lower the eyes and find the target inside forward 50, and Carroll did the rest. So about to get underway back in the middle. 12 minutes into the third term. 1 goal to Werribee, 2 to Carlton thus far. Murkov won it down. Trudgeon couldn't get his handball away. Handley tackled a man he might not have had the footy. Umpire says go on with it, and now we get a stoppage. Ma tried to shovel it out to O'Brien, didn't get to him, ends up with Cincotta instead, who just got a boot to ball. Good tackle by Wagner, and that affects the turnover. Here's Manor, looking for the one-on-one target in Rocky, and gets to him. Henderson working back hard to the goal square, so too Hayes. Rocky instead's going to give it off by hand to Gribble. Inside forward 50 to the hot spot. Mark not taken. Maluel lurking on the ground. Okoye there too. Henderson tries to make something happen, but we get a stoppage instead.
Matt Hansen clearly hampered. He's got that left knee taped up. He's on the bench at the moment, and the medico looking at that left knee. So he's been in the wards a little bit today, Matt Hansen.
He would be a big loss. One of their best players in the midfield. Carlton clearing kick comes, but only as far as Gribble, who dropped a mark he'd normally take. Under pressure now on the boundary line. Hurst tried to turn his way out of trouble. Instead, tapped it to Ma, which was nice, but he lost control of it. Back into the congestion we go. Gribble trying to force it forward. Unable to do so effectively. Werribee lead it by 6 points. 6-11, plays 6-5. Porter and Murkov going at it. The latter won the hit out. Werribee will get the clearance though. Hanrahan over the top to Luell, who needs to be quick. Got it off to Bjorn Maluel. Closes to 50. Didn't go for goal, and instead finds Henderson in a pocket of space inside 50.
Going for number 2 now is Jack Henderson. Tom Gribble's up to 26. Liam Stocker has 19 for Carlton. Jack Carroll 18.
You see the silky skills of Maluel and just the ability to sum up the situation. He never gets too flustered when he's on the ball. That was a picture-perfect pass to Henderson. And all he has to do is finish it off from directly in front, and he does just that.
Two goals now for Jack Henderson. That's a season high for him. Just keeping Carlton at arm's length at the moment. Blues did get a look at the lead in the second quarter, but that didn't last too long. As I look down to the Werribee bench, we've now got Josh Porter getting some attention from the medicos as well. Also looks to be maybe a left knee issue, so that's the same part of the body that Matt Hansen's getting some attention on at the moment. Some tape now being applied for Porter. Werribee by 2 goals. Umpire deciding not to even bother bouncing it. Perfect day for football here at Avalon Airport Oval. Shadows slowly getting longer. Dow did well to get past Bjorn Maluel. Eventually now Hayes ends up with it. Very high ball's going to land in the pocket. Crocker stays down. Forced out of play well by Nathan Cooper. Can Carlton quickly get one back here? It's become a bit of a seesawing affair at Avalon Airport Oval. Matt Hansen doing a stress test on his left knee at the moment. Couple of injury concerns on that Werribee bench as the ball is thrown in. Conway won it down to Brew. Reclaimed by Al Hawley. Brew throws it onto the left and Manor presents. In fact, it's Henderson taking the mark. Goes off to Tom Gribble. Kick out toward this near side of the ground. It went over the head of Rocky. Contested ball on the wing. Noah Gribble. Cincotta for company. Hand pass missed Garoni. 7-11-53 Werribee. Carlton 6-5-41. Round 5 in Smithy's VFL.
Gribble up to 28 touches now. Stocker has 19 for Carlton. From the restart, Conway tried to follow up his own work. Didn't get a handball away, but umpire said go on with it. Wagner shoots it back to Hanrahan. Just bounces it towards half forward. They all contest the pack. At the fall of the ball, here's Sotomarco, just puts it on the boot quickly. DeClays will run onto this. He's got a little bit of time. Able to pick it up cleanly. Centering ball. This could be dangerous at the back. Wagner couldn't bring it in. Noah Gribble chases it down now. Carlton desperate in defence. And they get out of trouble through Stocker and now Hayes, who's got a little bit of time and space at half back. He's turned it over by foot. through the fingertips of Mallowell, but Gribble was at the back. Here's Pinnock. One way, then the other, then threw it and tried to get a boot to it. That was unconventional. Carlton defence holding up. Cripps put his teammate Hayes in trouble. Conway, the lumbering ruckman, just trying to compete on the ground with the smaller, more agile Hayes, and does well to force a boundary throw-in.
28 touches now for our most recent Liston Trophy winner.
His side leads it by 12. Almost into time on third term. Lual tapped it on, but straight to Hayes, who tried to find Hurst by hand. Didn't do so cleanly. We get the pack once again. Somehow Dow emerges with the footy, looking for Kemp one-on-one with Pinnock. The latter does well to force it over the boundary line.
Approaching time on third quarter. Tigers by 2 straight kicks. Conway to do battle with Josh Cripps. Conway tapped it back toward the voice of Don Brew, eventually collected it, but then ran into trouble. Chincotta did well to get the handball out. Ends up now with Carroll. Hand pass to Stevens, one way to the other. Just got held up nicely in the end by Rocky. Holding the ball, free kick Werribee. Manner to take it. Lead on offer toward this near side is Garoni. Only 2 Werribee players inside forward 50, so Garoni holds up. Hanrahan. No one standing the mark here for Ollie Hanrahan. Gains a good 15 by foot, maybe more than that, eventually kicking it toward the hot spot. Only Blues went up for it. Williamson took the relieving mark for Carlton, and he'll switch it across to Hayes on the outer wing, or outer back pocket.
No one stood the mark, so Hayes was able to go. Drew Brew, then handballed it over the top. Carlton work it out a defensive 50 by hand. Now Crocker a long way from home. Doesn't like any of his short options. Hayes half-heartedly calls for it inboard. Crocker says, nope, I'm going up the line. Does exactly that, but unable to find a target. And now Werribee come away with it along the outer side. Really wobbly sort of kick towards half forward. It might work out for Werribee though. Hanrahan was good in traffic. Shot it out to Rocky. Here's to Clays. He's owned that outer side at times today. Kick into the path of the running Manor. Great kick from Kai de Clays. And Manor finishes it off. Gets his second of the day. And the 12-point lead restored for Werribee. Make that 18 points.
Scoreboard a little slow to tick over here. At Avalon Airport Oval, Tom Gribble now up to 29 touches, 23 for Ollie Hanrahan. Jack Henderson has the 20. Jack Carroll for Carlton, leading ball getter, 19 alongside Liam Stocker. So Werribee now find themselves back on top and in control of this game. They were quite inaccurate in the first quarter, 3 goals, 7. That left Carlton in the game for a while, but now they're back down by 3 straight kicks. They need the next one here to Blues. Again, the umpires have given up on bouncing. Dow read the tap well by Murkov, and now Trudgeon put down by de Clays after the kick. So downfield, Carlton will get this opportunity to get the quick reply. Cooper Stevens. No, it's not Cooper Stevens. It's Ned Cahill that will line up for the Blues. Kicked one in the first quarter. Does know his way around goal. There's Ned Cahill to bring it back to 12 points here as we start to approach 3-quarter time. Cahill, right foot ball is nicely tucked in. Carlton bring it back to 12 points.
Nice finish there from Cahill. Doesn't usually get a lot of the ball, but he is crafty around goal and he knows how to finish when he gets the opportunity. And just as soon as Werribee get out to that 3-goal lead, Carlton have been able to pull them back and just keep it a bit closer.
So for the Blues, highest ranked players on the ground, 19 each for Stocker and Carroll. Then Will Hayes has the 18. And then Lockie Fogarty, fourth highest ranked Blue on the ground, has the 11 touches to his name for the day. 5 tackles.
Poor bounce, didn't get much air on that one. So we're going to toss it up. Murkov and Conway, as it's been for most of the afternoon. Murkov timed his jump a lot better than Conway. Carlton come away with the clearance. Fogarty just bounces it inside forward 50. El Houli slaps it away. Clay's disposed of Philp, legally according to the umpire, and then gives it off to Pinnock, who sends it high up the line. Does stay in though, but not for long as it's thumped over. $12 points the Werribee lead. If you just joined us, they led it by 17 at quarter time, and they led it by 10 at half time. They've been in control for much of the day outside of a patch inside the second term. Inside forward 50 go the Blues. Crocker one-on-one with Cooper, but Crocker held his opponent. And Cooper, a little bit of danger in that kick, but gets to Clays in time. He'll pop it over the top to Gray. Next link in the chain's either Gribble or Brew. Goes for the former. And that'll be his 30th touch of the day. And we're not even at quarter time yet. 3/4 time yet, I should say. DeClay's kept running. Did he take it over the boundary line, perhaps?
Non-controlling umpire has signalled a hold, I think.
It's a hold, and it's actually going against DeClay's. Well, it's going against Werribee, I should say.
Umpire in the corridor indicating some sort of hold after the kick.
So free kick to Murkov. He just pops it up the line. Well-weighted ball, actually. Finds Trudgeon. And he's going to continue to hug the boundary line because he's got Cahill leading in that direction. Won't go for goal. Keeps it along the boundary line, and Werribee defence can deal with that pretty easily.
Killed off by Nathan Cooper. Tigers by 12 points. We've had 3 goals apiece in this third quarter. Blues in attack here. Cripps in ruck against Porter. Henderson around the corner. Hanrahan couldn't mark it. Chance here for the Blues at ground level. Williamson gets the shot away. And that's a couple in a row for Carlton. Tom Williamson sneaking forward. His first goal of the season. And a 6-point ball game at Avalon Airport Oval.
He's spent a lot more time forward than we're typically used to seeing Tom Williamson today. He's looked dangerous a couple of times around goal, and with that left foot of his, you know that if he's within 55, he's got every chance of putting it through. So he's a bit of a weapon for Carlton around the 50-metre arc. And again, just when it looks like Werribee might run away with it, Carlton are able to peg it back to just a 1-goal margin. Four goals for the Blues in this third term, 3 for Werribee. Jumping early was Porter. Hanrahan clears it, but straight to O'Brien, who gets it to Dow. Nice spin out of trouble. Back to O'Brien, his 2017 draft classmate. Radovanovic now. Takes a bounce, he's in trouble. Almost run down in the tackle. Stevens retrieves for Carlton and gets it to Hayes. Has Fogarty calling for it inboard. Instead, he wants to go longer. He's got Kemp, who just mistimed his leap. Dealing with that reasonably well was Cooper, and it bounces harmlessly over the boundary line. Crowd's finding a little bit of voice here now at Avalon Airport Oval. Late stages, third term. Carlton fans do travel well, and there are plenty of them here. Murkov wins it down. Trudgeon taking a ground, able to get a handball away to Hayes, who tries to bring it around the body. Instead, he's just kicked it really high. DeClay's one-on-one with Cahill. The smaller man did well in the marking contest, and now it's on the ground, which is his forte, but too many players around it for anyone to break free. 59 plays 53 at Avalon. Murkov taps it down into the path of Fogarty. He's dumped in the tackle, not going anywhere.
Tom Brew, the tackler. Carlton a goal away from levelling this up. Murkov down, but to no one that was waiting for it in a Carlton jumper. Brew dumps it out at defensive 50. Rocky pushed off it. Hot ball to win here on the wing. Cooper Stevens got pounced on. So we're 28 minutes into this third quarter now. Blues looking for the clearance here. Overrun by DeClace. They've got the outnumber. Williamson. DeClace spun him in the tackle, but he never went down, Williamson. Maybe some high contact on Trudge, and the umpire did see that. So the Blues will get the inside 50. Couple of Tigers back filling all the key holes. We go long. Malual's underneath and just got spoiled by his own teammate. Kemp waiting for it out the back, and we have a level ball game at Avalon Airport Oval. Brody Kemp finally has a goal to his name today.
Well, just a miscommunication in the Werribee defence, and Kemp was able to make them pay. Disappointing for Werribee. They did well earlier this quarter to get out to a 3-goal lead, but Carlton have methodically pegged them back as the quarter's gone on, and approaching 30 minutes in this third term, it's a tied ball game. Carlton coming into this game in third place on the ladder. Werribee sitting in ninth by virtue of their bye. Carlton 3 wins, 1 loss. Werribee 2 wins, 1 loss. As we get set to go in the middle. Dow overran it. That allowed Manna to clear the footy. And we've got a free kick for a push going against Chincotta. So Werribee will go forward through Rocky. Haven't had it inside 50 for a while, the Tigers. Rocky just puts it to a dangerous spot. Ball actually was allowed to get to ground, but luckily for Carlton, they're going to come away with it through O'Brien. He misses the target. Philp, though, had 3 Tigers to contend with, and out of bounds. A very good result for the Blues. Their leading disposal winner is Jack Carroll. He's got 20. Will Hayes also has 20. Stocker has 19, and Chincotta has 17. As the ball's tossed back in. Murkov again with first hands to it, but it's Werribee that come away from the stoppage through Malual. Lewis, though, makes sure it doesn't go any further than that. 3-quarter time siren, not too far away here at Avalon Airport Oval. It's a tied ball game. Still
no sign of Matt Hansen. He's now not any tape on around that left knee. Hasn't come back out onto the ground, so he might be done for the day.
They can ill afford to lose him. He's a very crucial player for the Werribee Football Club as Noah Gribble taps it on cleverly to Manna, who keeps it in. Centering ball will drop short, but the mark not paid in the end, but Carlton are able to come away with it, and now Hayes has it at half-back.
59 apiece at Avalon Airport Oval. Hayes inboard nicely for O'Brien. Got put down after taking that mark by Nick Hayes. Blues will be happy with this. Down by 18 points not so long ago. Murkov took it nicely against Josh Porter. Kemp's his target. Crocker coming late as well. Crocker might have had his hands chopped. Kemp got on all fours to pick it up and had time to actually get back up on his feet. Now Carroll, hand pass comes out. Hurst, that wasn't a shot, went for the centre. And Carlton had all the numbers. Great brave mark by Lockie Fogarty. Awkward landing as well, but he gets up and can take his kick to put the Blues in front.
How about that? Running back with the flight of the ball. Lockie Fogarty got up. Don't think he expected to get that high, but...
So Fogarty will put Carlton ahead by 1 point. It was a great mark. Not
It'll be 8-11-59. Plenty of excitement still to come in this game. Adam Sarakoglu to bring us the opening bounce of the final term.
Yeah, it's game on at Avalon Airport Oval. Fogarty trying to trap it with his boots. Ended up in his hands and he got tackled. Still inside the centre circles here. Murkoff getting first hands on it in the ruck. Then he has to follow up with the tackle on Sotomarco. He kicked the first goal of the game today, Michael Sotomarco, to former skipper. One more stoppage here. Again, Murkoff getting first hand on it against Conway. Sotomarco clears it. 1-on-1. No mark was taken there by Rocky. O'Brien going nowhere. Hayes the tackler.
So it's Werribee kicking to the left of screen in this final term. Haven't been too many goals kicked to that end before the last quarter. Carlton kicked 5 going to that end, and there really is no wind advantage. So no excuse for Werribee in this final term. Cahill thought about a couple of handball options, instead goes with a dubious option into the middle of the ground, went straight to Sotomarco, and now Gribble sends the Tigers inside forward 50. Okoye got first hand to it, but at the back lurking was Porter, who has a bouncing shot at goal, which just goes the wrong side of the post. Scores level.
Liam Stocker. He's getting some work on his right thigh late in that third quarter. Back out on the ground now. Conway perhaps could have marked that. Went the double fist. Ends up with Fogarty around the corner. Kemp underneath this one. Pinnock for company. Pinnock's done well. Gray wins it back. Now Tom Gribble. Hand pass to Pinnock, but he left it behind. Eventually regains it. Hanrahan on all fours. He missed Gray with his handball. Hayes gets it back for Carlton. Handball in board. Now it's up for grabs. Hurst has to get it toward Kemp. Got chicken wings there by Henderson and did not dispose legally. Great tackle there by Jack Henderson. Goes looking for Hudson Garoni. And any score here puts Werribee back in front.
Well, they lifted another notch, Werribee. Just remains to be seen whether Carlton can go with them at this level. Hudson Garoni kicked a nice goal in the third term. Chance here to make it 2.
Missed another shot from very similar range not long after that goal. That goal was only paid after a fairly long conversation with 4 different umpires. Garoni here, there'll be no such conversation this time. 9 goals apiece, but Werribee are the ones in front.
That they are, and well, they can thank their inaccuracy for that one. 9 goals 12 to Carlton, 9 goals 6.
Leading by 6 behinds now. Tom Gribble today, Michael, you've got his individual numbers there in front of you, but he's now on the bench getting a little bit of work done. Don't think it's anything too serious.
Maybe
if this didn't happen at the 3-quarter time break, if he was indeed perfectly okay.
Might be a case of leather poisoning, Adam. He's up to 34 disposals for the day. As we're set to go back in the middle. Call it a draw in the ruck. Fogarty gets the ball bouncing forward for Carlton. It eludes everyone. Kemp at the back. So too Hurst. Tried to lay the tackle. It comes out. Shooting the handball out was Cahill. Didn't really look where he was going. And he sent it straight back into traffic where Werribee had the numbers. And now to Clays on the outer side. Takes a bounce casually. Then pokes it towards half forward. Porter needed to stand tall. Did a good job, but didn't have the support he needed on the ground. And Carlton now through Okoye, and Cooper Stevens can get out of trouble. Crocker crudely pushed in the back by Cooper. And he'll take the free. Some Werribee numbers have gotten back, but not enough to prevent the short ball to Hayes. Now O'Brien out wide. Crocker kept running. O'Brien pokes it over the top to him. Crocker looking for a target inside forward 50. And the mark taken by Williamson, whose opponent went to ground at the crucial moment. And he looks like he might have cramped up a little bit, Williamson, as well.
He's going for his second.
Hopefully nothing more than that, just a cramp. He is going to take his kick. And he's going to try and stretch it out at the same time. It's deep in the pocket, Williamson, but he is on the right side for the left footer. Lines up for the drop punt. Now he runs around, still goes with the drop punt across the body, but always missing to the near side. Margin now 5 points in favour of Werribee. Williamson has 1 goal, 1.
All eyes on Keegan Gray here. Wants to go straight down the corridor. It's going to land in the middle of Avalon Airport Oval, through the hands of Garoni. Nicely gathered at the back. It's a Werribee ball, but a wide kick here from Rocky, putting Maluau under all sorts of pressure. Crocker brings him down. There was no prior. Some very vocal Carlton supporters below us. Ball thrown up. Big fist on it by Murkov. Crocker can't pick it up initially. Paddling it toward the boundary line. Gets it now. Kept it in play. High ball around the corner. And, well, no mark taken in the end there by Pinnock. He was on all fours. At the back, a little trickle toward goal by Kemp, but he was under a fair bit of pressure from Luau. It's going to be a Werribee ball to be taken by Sotomarco.
In no rush to take his kick. He's just going to send it high up the line and hope Conway can give him a contest, but the ball doesn't get to him. Hayes takes the mark unimpeded, kicked it into the face of Rocky, then got it back, and now Carlton inside forward 50. Hurst was the flyer, couldn't bring it in. Dow tries to affect the pressure, but Werribee are now away. They've got numbers streaming inside forward 50. Porter is there. Radovanovic has to be really good. Noah Gribble ends up with it, has no one to go to, so he just stops, props, goes for goal, and it bounces over the boundary line. Probably a good result for Werribee if they weren't going to kick the goal there. Gribble still on 34 disposals. Jack Henderson up to 27 for Werribee. Hayes now sitting on 25 to lead Carlton. Carroll and Stockup each have 21 as the ball's tossed in. Hayes make that 26 for him. Cooper Stevens loops it over the top to Fogarty. And he needed to be precise by foot there because there are a lot more black jumpers than white. And he missed the target. Ham able to intercept.
Pretty crowded forward line here for the Tigers. Holding as the ball was arriving, and a shot at goal is coming up for Werribee. Slow to get up is Josh Porter. There's also a Carlton player that's very gingerly getting up as well. That's Ned Cahill. But Porter is going to take his shot here. He'll settle into his routine. Looking to make it an 11-point lead for Werribee. Tom Gribble about to come back out onto the ground. Bjorn Maluau's coming off for him. He's had a big day today, Tom Gribble. Right now, it's all eyes on Josh Porter. His first goal puts Werribee up by 11 points.
Well, he's had a couple of shots at goal earlier today, Porter, and hasn't looked all that comfortable taking the set shot, but that one was a perfect kick straight through the middle. No nerves for him on that occasion as he goes back into the centre. He's going to take the ruck contest. Werribee leading now by 11 points, almost 10 minutes gone in the final term. Bit of a hush comes over the crowd here at Avalon Airport Oval. Porter jumped early. Murkov stayed down and pretty much won the hit out. Tried to win the clearance as well, but couldn't do so. Mad scramble with lots of players around it. Trudgeon laying the tackle on Brew. Umpire no choice but to ball it up. Hayes onto the loose ball. Took a bit of time to handle it cleanly, but shot it out to O'Brien, who gets it to Carroll, whose kick inside 50 is looking for the lead of Crocker and finds him in front of Pinnock. This will test Crocker's range, but the umpire has moved the men on the mark back a couple of metres. So Crocker will kick from right on the paint.
Both of Hudson Garoni's kicks in the third quarter from this spot, maybe just a slight bit closer. Both push left to right.
That they did. Crocker kicks it from just inside the 50. He's avoided the left to right, but he just kept it left, out of bounds on the full.
He got half of it right in the end. Tom Gribble will reclaim this one.
That'll be disposal 36 for him.
Short left footer. Mark taken by Pinnock. Tigers leading by 11 points, so they're in no particular rush here at the moment. Pinnock down the line. Push out of the contest, Garoni. Umpire let that go. Trudgeon. Handball just slipped through the hands of Josh Cripps. Out in the sunshine. Still one more game of Smithy's VFL to come tonight. The rescheduled game between Footscray and Southport. How good have the Sharks been so far this year? No Jacob Townsend tonight, though. Leading goal kicker in the competition as we get a kick toward the wing here. Chincotta over the top to the voice of Stocker, but Stocker nowhere near it. Had to lay the tackle instead. Ball's fed out to Manor. It's an empty 50 here. Manor helicopters it pretty badly. Didn't really have to kick it as hard as he did there. All he had to do was maybe lob it for the top of the square and the bouncing would have done the rest of it, but instead we've got a boundary throw in. Maluau comes back out onto the ground, as does Williamson for Carlton. It's coming toward Maluau here and had plenty of chances to mark it. Slippery fingers though, goes out of play, boundary throw in. Paddy Dow just in the foreground getting some work as well. He'll be ready to come back on in a minute. Kemp now getting a rundown as well. Rub down, I should say. Ball thrown in. Gribble off the deck. It's Tom Gribble. Been outstanding today. Sotomarco kick smothered off his boot by Marr. Ham working hard at ground level. Marr following up, but he's harassed by Pinnock and without the ball according to the umpire. So a free kick will go Marr's way. He's got O'Brien across on the outer side. Doesn't want to go there. Instead just goes a bit more direct. Crocker's going to affect it late, but coming back, Luau. Nice relieving mark for the Tigers. Nariak Luau will maintain this slow tempo for the Tigers. Nice kick for Noah Gribble.
Has his brother on short if he wants. Handballs it to him. And Tom sends it high up the line. Stocker well placed. So too Radovanovic. But off hands, it's all Werribee. Hayes tried to find the running target in Rocky by hand. Wasn't able to. And Carlton can mop this up. Here's O'Brien in defensive 50. Had time to stop and prop and go back across the face of goal for Lewis, who's forced to hold it up. Now he brings it back to the outer side for Rickoy. Carlton NGA prospect is Dom McCoy. Joined the AFL list at the end of last year, and that's going to be a free kick for a push in the back going against Trudgeon.
Very lucky not to be 50 there.
Certainly was. He took his sweet time getting it back, and now Werribee through Manor are away. He'll pump them inside forward 50, top of the square. Where is the tall timber? At the back, Malual just got a cruel bounce. Akoi happy to let the ball go through for a rush behind.
Cooper Stevens will kick in for the Blues. 12-point ball game at Avalon Airport Oval. Blues snuck their noses in front, right on the three-quarter time siren. Nice mark taken here by Cripps. Werribee home game, but the Carlton faithful have travelled well today.
They always do.
Both their sides have had to travel west. Mainly the VFL side going as far west within the Melbourne metropolitan area as you can get, as opposed to the AFL side on the west coast. Lockie O'Brien for Crocker. What's Crocker do here? Trudgeon asking for it. Has Luau right with him. Got to the front position. Trudgeon couldn't take the mark. Sotomarco hand pass to a teammate under pressure. It was Al Hawley. Did well to win it back. Got it to Manna. Manuel had it and lost it. Chance here for the Blues. Crocker to tap on. New pressure was coming. It's tracking toward the goal square now. Coming out to affect the contest, Williamson, he's wrapped up. Ended up with Philp, his kick partially smothered off the boot. Desperate defending here for Werribee. Noah Gribble fumbled, had to lay to tackle, did well. It's going to be a ball up in the forward pocket, and Carlton need a goal.
They trail it by 12. Werribee's defence under immense pressure at the moment. Can Carlton manufacture a goal? Cripps out of the ruck, couldn't get boot to ball. Maluel tries to clear. In fact, make that Luau. And the ball caught in congestion. Conway over the top. Gribble just tried to tunnel it out of there. Here's Dow. Can he swing on to the left and go for goal? He can, and Carlton gets the one it needs through Paddy Dow. Margin back to 6 points. Dow kicks his first goal of the day.
The Tigers just cannot shake Carlton here. They've had 23 scoring shots to 17, but only have one goal as a lead to show for it. We're going to get a big finish here. 19 points, biggest lead of the game, Michael, today. Now the Blues just a goal away from levelling it up once more. It'll be Murkov and Conway in ruck, as it has been for much of the day today. No more bouncing, it seems. Umpire throws it up. Don't mind that. Murkov. It's going to be picked up by Manna. Eventually gets onto the right boot. Over the head of Luau. Blues get the outnumber running back. Stocker. Hand pass off to North. Now in the hands of O'Brien. One way to the other. McCoy in the goal square. Virtual kick in here. Lead on offer from Stocker. Well, here go the long ball to get it out of the danger zone here. In front of the practice wicket. Short ball down the line. On his knees, it was Hanley taking the mark for Carlton. Now we'll go the longer ball. Murkov and Conway, the two bigs, go at it. Dow almost getting caught up in some friendly fire with Carroll. Sotomarco. Umpire said he did get rid of it. Mongrel ball toward the corridor. Very well gathered there by Crocker. Goes around to an empty 50. We've got a foot race here. Williamson trying to get front position. It was claimed first by Cooper. Ball comes loose here. Chance for the Blues to level it. Philp, he gets brought down by Cooper. Still a chance for the Blues. It'll be Cripps. It'll be a left foot snap. And it's a level ball game again at Avalon Airport Oval.
Well, we've had a draw already today in the Smithies VFL. Sandringham and GWS, I should say, ending up tied on 59. And now here at Avalon, we've got Werribee 10-13 against Carlton 11-7. Almost into time on in the final term. Very exciting stuff here at Avalon Airport Oval.
Crowd's into it as well. Good atmosphere here today.
That they are. It's a lot of Carlton people here. And they're making some noise because their side has just tied up the game as we go again in the middle. Hit out evades everyone. Maluel got it out to Gribble. Now Brew bounces it towards half forward. Pushed off it legally was Radovanovic. But we get a free kick for high contact going against Carlton. Here's Rocky. Kicked a goal in the opening term. Too far out to score here. Into the pocket. High ball. Okoye got the fist to it. Wagner couldn't find a target by hand. Carlton defence holds up as Stevens sends it high and long up the line. But standing tall, Pinnock dropped the mark he should have taken. Now Carlton with numbers at the back. Here's Williamson. Spots the target in the middle. That's Carroll. Goes immediately onto the left. Looking for Cripps one-on-one. Will he get there? He will, but can't hold on to it. Good defensive work by Cooper. And now Sotomarco can go up the line for DeClace.
Into time on now. Scores a level. Final term. DeClace. Been very quiet in this second half. Now Garoni has it. Back to DeClace. Gets onto his left eventually. Blues have some numbers. Nice mark taken by Murkoff. And Cripps have had good games today. Josh is the younger brother of Patrick.
Making his way off the ground as well.
So, high ball. Fogarty's underneath this one. McCoy coming late. It fell into the lap of DeClace. Luau's got space. Marks, chest mark, almost uncontested. Plays on and misses. But it does put Werribee back in front.
Interesting decision there by Maluel. Usually so poised and composed. Maybe a bit of a rush of blood there to go on with it, but he has put his side in front. Kick in for Carlton, taken by Lewis. Goes long. Radovanovic had a couple of goes at it. Couldn't hold on to it. Kemp shot it out by hand to Carroll. Just sent a torp towards half forward. It's thumped away for Werribee, but Kemp is at the fall of the ball. Hurst needs to sum it up and hit a target inside 50. Crocker couldn't take the mark. Fogarty back to Crocker. Can he put the Blues in front? He can't. So both sides missing crucial opportunities. Score tied once again.
Can't take your eyes off this one now. Sotomarco with the kicking in duties for Werribee. Will we still see the tempo footies? Thinking about going short to Cooper here. Made sense when they were in the front, in the lead, but not so much now. Level ball game. Al Hawley has to jump. Couldn't take it. Tom Gribble. Claimed by O'Brien. Nice handball in ball by Trudgeon. Carroll! That's straight! Blues back in front. Jack Carroll has two.
Well, the Carlton forwards have really stepped up their pressure in this second half, and that goal was created by pressure once again. Carroll getting on the end of it. Turnover from the kick in. And a nice finish from the Carlton youngster. What an exciting ball game we've got here, Adam. Carlton by 6 points. Still plenty of time left, you suspect. 3 goals in this final turn of the Blues, 2 to the Tigers. 23 and a half gone. From the restart, Murkoff won the hit out, but on the ground was Porter, but he was holding his opponent. And being forced to come back behind his mark is Fogarty. Dishes it off to the run of Cincotta. Good work by Gray. Ricochets back to Cincotta, who can unload from outside 50 and almost kick a second for the Blues. But getting back, desperate defending on the goal line for Werribee. Carlton lead now 7 points.
I'm not going to say it because we had it behind for Werribee, which then Carlton went coast to coast and got that behind back straight away. So I'm not going with what you're probably thinking yet, Michael. Still plenty to go in this one. Gribble does go inside 50, but we've got a foot race here between Hanrahan and Radovanovic. They get tangled up. The third man in is Stocker, and he wants to... Yeah, he had no intention of extracting that ball. get all the reinforcements back down there. That's the right outcome here for the Blues. 7-point ball game. Nothing happening just yet. Brew taken down by Fogarty. Hard ball to win this one. A lot of congestion around it. Of course, it could become a handy point, Michael, if time does just tick away here with nothing happening on the scoreboard, but probably doesn't mean too much just yet. Ball's tapped down in the corridor. Conway not involved in the ruck contest. Had to get some body on body. It's trickling toward the middle of the ground now. The tap back. Miss Sotomarco. Werribee ball eventually claimed by Manor. Rushing one inside 50. Hayes read it nicely in flight. Almost took the mark. Not much else he could have really done there. Stocker. Very nice kick. Great vision. Finds Brody Kemp.
Great foot skills from Stocker on that occasion. Finds Kemp and he's happy to play it slow. Call to move it. Sends it high up the line. Conway, the tallest man there, and he takes the mark uncontested. Feeds it back to Sotomarco. Ran into trouble. Gives it off to El Hawley. Now Conway just needs to put it on the boot, the big man. Did exactly that. Bouncing ball at half forward. Murkov retrieves his opposite number. Radovanovic has got a problem. Gets out of the tackle just in time to Stocker. And has he kept this in just? Williamson takes the mark. And he is in no rush whatsoever with his side leading it by 7 points. Call to move on. Long ball up the line, he suspect. That's exactly what happens. Conway and Murkov against each other. Kemp flew. Couldn't bring it in. That might be out of bounds on the full off Hurst's boot. Boundary umpire says, no, I'll throw it in.
Despite the advice she's getting from the bench. 7-point ball game here.
Thought the Tigers might have a case there for that one, but...
Yeah, she had a good look at it though. Would have been a big call to make this late in the game. Fogarty off balance, gets his little kick forward. Hurst dribbling it along the boundary line, decided to keep it alive, and he's done well because they're inside 50 here, Carlton. This could be a sealer. It's Cripps with another left foot snap. He's done it again. Little Bro might have just sealed it for Carlton. 13 points now, 27 gone.
Wow, how about that? Josh Cripps hadn't had a lot of the ball in the first 3 quarters, but he's kicked 2 massive goals in this final term. And with the Blues leading it now by 13 points, 27.5-minute mark of the final term, you'd have to think they're almost home at this stage. Wow, what a game we've witnessed here today, Adam. Werribee are going to have any chance, they need a goal almost immediately from the centre clearance. Conway down to Manor. Can't break away though. Murkov's got him wrapped up. They're pushing everyone forward. The Werribee coaches, they know that they're going to have to take some risks if they're going to have any chance. Cincotta, though, read it well to Cripps, the hero. Back to Cincotta. Numbers running forward for Carlton. Hurst, one of those, created the last goal. One-handed pickup was clever. Towards the pocket. It's bouncing. Cruel bounce, though. O'Brien can turn around and make it a certainty for Carlton. And he's done exactly that. Carlton are going to come away with their 4th win.
Right before those 2 goals, Mick Barlow had come down to the bench. There's probably a sense now that this one is over. 14-9-93 to 10-14-74. It's a game-high lead of 19 points now for Carlton, which, funnily enough, that same margin was Werribee's highest lead.
Back in the second term.
So, very chirpy crowd here supporting the Navy Blues. And there's a couple that are actually letting the Werribee supporters know that it's going to be their day today. They can now look forward to seeing the AFL side take on a hot Dockers side. Carroll gets tangled up with the umpire there. Loose ball gathered at half back by Ham. Declace. That's McCoy taking the relieving mark for Carlton. The Sting's out of this one now. McCoy uses up his time allotment down the line. That's a nice mark taken by Conway. Bit of urgency just has left Werribee here. Hanrahan. Deep ball inside 50. Good fist on the ball there by Stocker. Regained nicely off the deck there by Cahill. Trudgeon. Now Kemp has moved into the back line here just for some reinforcements as we go towards Hurst at half forward. He's been busy in these last couple of minutes. Tom Gribble a bit slow to get up. That could be a concern for Werribee. I think he's okay. So we go inside 50 for the Tigers. Maluau, spare man down there. Gets tangled up with O'Brien, who regains it for Carlton. He chips one over the top.
Trudgeon has it at half back. Carlton by 19 points. High ball up the line, and it's marked by the hero of the final term in Josh Cripps. Werribee are going to look back on that first quarter where they kicked 3 goals 7 and ruse some missed opportunities. Should have been up by a lot more than 17 points at quarter time as Hurst takes the mark. 31 gone now, final term. Hurst pokes it up the line. Mark is taken. Can they add another one, perhaps the Blues? No need. Carlton makes a statement at Avalon Airport Oval.